Hello, it is a pleasure to have you on board. Thank you so much for choosing Maisha Television Kenya. My name is Rida Kiring Chebet. Coming up.
Asije akaharibu amani Kenya, asije akamwaga damu tena vile amezoea, kwa sababu we are shortly going to tell him enough is enough.
President William Ruto warns Azimio leader Raila Odinga to ensure the planned demonstrations are peaceful. Plus,
taka kutumia vibaya majina ya Mungu. Watu wanaosema kwamba Yehova, ya kwamba Yesu atongareni, tunakemea na kulaani katika jina la Yesu.
Bungoma clergy distance themselves from Yesu Atongareni, who claims to be Jesus. And
chimba kaburi, ameweka sanda pale, akaweka maua, anataka kujizika. Anasema aliota kwa ndoto either mtu akufe ama yeye akufe, lakini kulingana na familia tunaona ni pombe na bangi ndio iko kwake mingi.
Shock as Kakamega man digs owns grave, claiming he saw death looming. Welcome on board. President William Ruto has warned Azimio la Umoja leader Raila Odinga to ensure that the planned demonstrations are peaceful and do not harm Kenyans who will be going about their business. Ruto accused Odinga of blackmailing the country and said enough is enough. The head of state was speaking while hosting Trans Nzoia leaders at State House in Nairobi. Trans Nzoia Governor George Natembeya has committed to working with President Ruto's government, claiming the county has lagged behind for many years for affiliating themselves with the opposition. Natembeya led a delegation of county leaders to meet with President William Ruto at State House in Nairobi on Wednesday, March 15th. Mesh Musimbi is on that story.
President William Ruto has warned Azimio la Umoja coalition leader Raila Odinga to ensure that the planned demonstrations are peacefully and do not harm Kenyans who will be going about their businesses.
Ngoja kidogo.
Ametuambia anatupangia maandamano. Na anatuambia ati itakuwa maandamano ya amani.
Ruto accused Odinga of blackmailing the country and said enough is enough while hosting Trans Nzoia leaders at State House in Nairobi.
Asije akaharibu amani Kenya, asije akamwaga damu tena vile amezoea, kwa sababu we are shortly going to tell him enough is enough. You cannot continue for 50 years to blackmail the nation, to cause mayhem, to sell fear, to destroy property, to cause loss of life for 50 years, and you want us as a country to believe that you are not taking us for a ride, and you are not taking us for granted, and you are not insulting our collective intelligence as a nation. Kwa sababu kama sisi wote jameni tunakubali sheria, tunaamini katiba, tunaamini vitengo ile imetengenezwa na katiba, lakini mtu mmoja anasema yeye haamini sheria, haamini katiba, ati yako na sheria yake, yeye anatengeneza peke yake, ile anataka ndio inakuwa sheria ya Kenya. Na tusipokubaliana na yeye, ati mpaka ametuambia ati uchaguzi haiamuliwi na IBC, ati uchaguzi inaamuliwa na sijui whistleblower, hana jina, hatujui sura yake, sijui anafanya ako wapi, ati huyo ndio huyo ghost anaitwa sijui whistleblower ndio ataamua uchaguzi wa Kenya. Na tukikosa kukubaliana na huyo ghost, ati Raila atatuletea fujo, ati atapiganisha wa Kenya. Jameni, hii ni ungwana kweli? Tumwambie bwana Raila, bwana please tupatie heshima kidogo, hata sisi ni wa Kenya, wewe si Mkenya peke yako, ama namna gani jameni? Yes.
He urged Kenyans to protest peacefully and within the law, and urged Odinga to coordinate with police regarding the planned demonstrations.
And we must tell my good friend Raila Odinga, you cannot, enough is enough. You cannot continue to blackmail the country. And we have no problem with you organized demonstration. But please, it is your responsibility to work with the police to make sure that the rest of the citizens of Kenya, their lives are not disrupted, their property is not destroyed, their business is not affected, they can go to work, you can carry out your demonstration. Tunaelewana? Ama ni aje? Si namna hiyo? It is just a fair game. Hakuna haja ya kusumbuana. We are a nation because we have decided to submit ourselves to the constitution and to the laws that govern our country.
Ruto accused Odinga of holding bloody and chaotic protests for the past 50 years and urged him to assure Kenyans that things will be different this time. He stated that it is time Odinga's responsibility to meet with the police and explain how the protests will be peaceful.
Sasa mimi nataka nimuulize bwana mkubwa, wewe ulipanga mapinduzi ya serikali ya Kenya, Wakenya wengi wakapoteza maisha yao, damu ikamwagika Kenya. Wewe umepanga kwa miaka 40 mambo ya maandamano, fujo imetokea, watu wamepoteza maisha, watu wameharibiwa mali, kumetokea fujo katika taifa letu kwa mambo yako ya maandamano. Leo unatuambia ati utapanga maandamano ya amani. Tunangojea hii maandamano ya amani tuone kutoka kwa huyu jamaa ambaye hajawahi kupanga hata siku moja maandamano ya amani. Maandamano yote amepanga kwa miaka 40 ni ya fujo. Watu wanaharibiwa mali yao, watu wanapoteza biashara zao, damu inamwagika. Anatuambia ati amebadilika leo, ati atapanga mambo ati maandamano ya amani. Mimi sina shida kama rais.
Meanwhile, Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua has asked Kenyan leaders to encourage residents of their counties to focus on farming and development and ignore any calls for protest. He stated that development is critical for Kenya and Kenyans should prioritize it.
Muongee na watu wa Trans Nzoia wafanye ukulima na biashara. Hii maneno ya hii mzee ya maandamano waachane naye, kwa sababu it is useless. Sasa yeye anapiga kelele ati unga iko juu. Siku alikuwa anasaidia Uhuru Kenyatta akiwa mshauri yake, unga ilikuwa 250. Hakufanya maandamano, hakuambia Uhuru ateremushe. Saa hii tumeteremusha imefika 175, anataka ati kufanya maandamano. Siku fertilizer ilikuwa 7,000, hakuongea. Saa hii iko 3,500, anasema maandamano. Sisi tuko na kazi ya kufanya kumsaidia huyu rais wetu, na tungetaka kuuliza kaunti yenu pia, watu wafanye ukulima, wafanye biashara na waendelee na mambo yao. Huyo mzee ni sisi na yeye. Huyo mzee amesumbua Kenya for the last 60 years wakiwa na baba yake. Wakati ya kumalizana na hiyo mtu ni wakati huu, na ataenda akiedanga. Kwa hivyo nyinyi msijali, sisi tufanye kazi na nyinyi muendelee na kazi. Hapo
Musalia Mudavadi, Prime Cabinet Secretary, also urged Kenyans to disregard any fictitious declarations with no legal basis and go to work as usual on Monday. Mudavadi claimed that the proposed protests were illegal.
And it is determined legally as to who can do it, and public holidays are then gazetted. What law is somebody using somewhere. This is what we have been trying to say. You cannot be walking around telling people you want somebody to observe the rule of law, and you yourself are so blatantly breaking the rule of law and giving a fictitious declaration which has no basis and has no legal notice. Isn't this impunity? This is impunity. Let us build a nation that is anchored on the rule of law. And there's a procedure. So what are you going to do to the businesses that will lose income on that day? What are you going to do to the employees who may be forced to lose their jobs because you have obstructed them from going to work? Will you take over their household responsibilities? Hii porojo tuachane nayo. Na mimi na Weta na hata na president tulisema tumebeba huu mzigo sisi wenyewe for a long time. Huu mzigo ni mzito. Tulisema hivyo. Tusibebe mzigo ambao hautufaidi.
Raila announcements of the protest came after the 14-day ultimatum to the government to reduce the high cost of 2022 presidential election servers expired last Wednesday. Odinga also announced a new initiative aimed at challenging the current regime.
The ongoing process of reconstituting IEBC must stop immediately. A bipartisan task force must be put in place to restructure the IEBC in a manner that ends its monolithic. If these demands are not heeded, within 14 days, we shall lead Kenya.
He expressed disappointment with Ruto's administration, accusing it of failing to deliver on its election promises, thereby subjecting Kenyans to economic hardship.
Rising taxes, and they have lately talked about children dropping out of school for lack of peace. Withdrawal of subsidies to food and education in the middle of drought and famine was a reckless and heartless. Consequently, the subsidies must be restored, the cost of basic commodities and taxes must come down in the next 14 days.
For Maisha Prime News, Maisha Television, I'm Mesh Msimbi.
And protesters on Wednesday afternoon stormed the World Consumers' Rights Day event being held at the Jaramogi Oginga Odinga Sports Complex in Kisumu, demanding an audience with Cabinet Secretary for ICT Eliud Owalo. Mr. Ezra Chiloba, the Director General of the Communications Authority of Kenya, had to be whisked away from the venue to escape the wrath of the angry protesters. The protesters who were chanting "Tunataka Owalo, we want Owalo" arrived just when journalists were interviewing Mr. Chiloba on the sidelines of the forum. The protesters raided the event moments after they issued a memorandum at the County Commissioner's office.
This is a rehearsal of Friday, this is a rehearsal of Monday, and Monday we will stop of nothing except getting to State House.
Ni vyema kwetu kukuja kwa viongozi wetu wakuja hapa Nakuru. Ile shida ambayo Wakenya wanapitia na ile shida ambayo hata wewe mwenyewe unaona, shida ya gharama ya Kenya, maisha vile iko.
All right, thank you so much, Umesh Musimbi, for that story there. And moving on, Azimio leader Raila Odinga's campaign against President William Ruto's Kenya Kwanza administration could narrow down to the recruitment of commissioners for the Electoral Commission. The opposition leaders has listed a raft of demands, including opening of the IEBC servers, lowering the cost of living, and halting the hiring of electoral commissioners. Maisha TV has established that the opposition is crystallizing irreducible minimums against Ruto to the agenda for the composition of the Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission. Bushebi Jr. explains.
Tumesema sasa hii kipindi ya pili, awamu ya pili sasa, yaani inaanza sasa. Wakenya utafanya maandamano.
Opposition leader Raila Odinga's protests will ultimately narrow down to the push to halt the ongoing recruitment of new electoral commissioners.
Kumbea kwamba sisi kama Wakenya tunataka tufanye marekebisho. Tunataka tufanye marekebisho. Tufanye marekebisho. Tunasema tufanye marekebisho, nione mkono tena. Wakati hatuwezi kukubali Kenya irudishe katika hali ile ambayo tulitokea.
Sisi tumesema tarehe 20 tunaenda Nairobi kuonana na huyo Ruto mundu humundu. Mko tayari watu wa Siaya? Mko tayari tutembee pamoja? Na sisi tunasema hivi ya kwamba kando na yale ambayo amekataa mambo ya servers, mambo ya IEBC, sisi tunajua yeye alijitangaza kupitia mtu anaitwa Chebukati.
Insiders in the Azimio la Umoja One Kenya Coalition Party have framed this demand as an irreducible minimum for the coalition to ease off the pressure on President William Ruto, whom they accuse of orchestrating changes to the law on appointment of electoral commissioners.
Sisi tunajua hakushinda kura, he's in State House sababu ya IEBC. Na yeye ameanza kubadilisha IEBC peke yake. Sisi tumemwambia Bwana Ruto asitishe mambo ya unilateral ile anafanya sasa, kuteua mambo ya IEBC. Sababu IEBC ikipoteza imani ya Wakenya, si 2027 tutakuwa na shida.
Bwana William Ruto, wewe William Ruto, najua unanisikizanga wewe tarehe 20 wewe mwanaume wewe, upande usipande unaenda nyumbani. Ruto mas.
I'm facing you. You are not above the law.
One of Mr. Odinga's close allies claimed that Dr. Ruto's administration amended the law to influence the hiring of Independent Electoral and Boundaries Commission IEBC officials to have an edge in the next elections.
Electoral deceit must end. Servers must be opened and audited, and under auspices of a reputable firm or organization, failure to which we shall lead the people to restore their authority and voice.
Azimio Secretary General Junet Mohammed said that the coalition will not back down on its push to have the process stopped to address their concerns.
Wao watu wanasema ati sisi hatuwezi kufanya maandamano, sijui Kindiki anasema nini. Mimi nataka kuambia Kindiki, baba sio rika yako. Umesikia hiyo? Kindiki 2017 Matiang'i alipiga sisi tear gas na akapiga sisi. Sasa leo nani anatetea yeye?
Mr. Mohammed claimed the selection has been designed to establish, quote, a friendly IEBC, hence the rush by the Kenya Kwanza administration to amend laws relating to the selection panel. On Tuesday, March 14th, 82 parties defended the election of the political party's liaison committee representative to the selection panel, Mr. Evans Misati. The parties claimed some Azimio-affiliated parties had tried to lobby for the boycott of the election on February 15th in Naivasha and further criticized Mr. Odinga for discrediting the process. Speaking in Bondo in Siaya County, Mr. Odinga said he would be the sacrificial lamb in his quest to liberate Kenyans from a government he feels is insensitive to the needs of common citizens.
The people of Kenya, Maisha, all the time said, oh, BAMBA wants handshake. That's why he's doing this. We are not doing this because of handshake. We are doing this because it is the right thing to do. The only alternative we have to be able to get our rights back.
He made the statement on a day that he asked Kenyans to skip work and join in the protest march next Monday.
We declare that Monday the 20th of March will be a public holiday.
To drive his point home, he used a folk tale narrating how during drought elders had to sacrifice one person and the community settled on a beautiful woman called Waganda. She was to be taken to the lake and fed to crocodiles.
Hello.
For Maisha Prime, I'm Bushebi Jr.
The Senate Committee on Public Investments and Special Funds has recommended for the county government of Kericho to do a complete overhaul of human resource in the management of Kewasco. This follows what the Senate Committee had identified as mismanagement in leading the water company making losses. Our reporter Gadezikoa reports.
Company is. But this question,
in line with Article 96 of the Constitution that gives the Senate powers to protect counties and their interests, Senate Committee on County Public Investment and Special Funds has given Kericho County Governor Eric Mutahi a few recommendations that will see an overhaul in the Kericho Water Company Kewasco, which has been making losses, which the committee says is due to mismanagement.
That as part of
the committee headed by Viga Senator Godfrey Osotsi has given the county 60 days to restructure the company and do a complete overhaul of the human resource.
So on behalf of the committee, we have recommended that this company be restructured in totality. The human resource, the board, and also they need to look at the performance contracting of the staff. That's the first one.
In regards to the high non-water revenue that is said to be brought by corruption, the committee has recommended for the county to engage services of the Ethics and Anti-Corruption Commission in conducting investigations.
Having noted the unprecedented high non-water revenue, presently at 52%. And having noted that some of this could be attributed to corruption and bribery, we recommend that you start an investigation around this. And the EACC officer who is here is more than willing to cooperate.
At the same time, Governor Mutahi noted that leaders will not give any excuse when few individuals are misusing public resources.
I hold the view that we have no excuse as leaders to watch resources being plundered and being wasted.
Also, the senator urged the county executive and the county assembly to work together to develop a water act that will help streamline operations in the water sector. The governor also said that an audit conducted on Kabianga Tea Farm, which belongs to the county government, revealed that it has been making losses and seeks to deal with the situation.
Among these other company and the issues that you have raised, when I took over as a governor, there was also an entity in Kericho called Kabianga Tea Farm that belongs to the county government. It's around 320 acres. When I look into what they've been reporting, for 4 or 5 years, they've been recording zero profit.
The Senate committee has directed the county to provide the mapping of Kewasco assets and liabilities, while issuing steps the county has taken to deal with non-statutory deals and filed the reports within 60 days. Agades Ikoha, Maisha Prime News.
Thank you, Gariziko. And moving on, President Ruto has on Wednesday nominated Margaret Karungaru for appointment as a member of the National Gender and Equality Commission. The message was relayed in Parliament by the Speaker of the National Assembly, Moses Masika Wetangula. Karungaru is the sister-in-law of Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. Protesters on Wednesday afternoon stormed the World Consumers' Rights Day event by the late Nderitu Gachagua, the former governor of Nyeri. Karungaru was recently named one of the 15 shortlisted candidates for a position with the National Gender and Equality Commission. The National Gender and Equality Commission is in charge of promoting gender equality and the elimination of discrimination in all sectors of society.
Honourable members, pursuant to the provisions of Standing Order number 42, I wish to convey the following message from His Excellency the President regarding the nomination of a person for appointment as a member of the National Gender and Equity Commission. In the message, honourable members, His Excellency the President conveys that in exercise of powers conferred on him by Article 252B of the Constitution and Section 11(6) of the National Gender and Equality Commission Act 2012 as read together, the Section 3 and 5 of the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act, Act number 33 of 2011, he has nominated Dr. Margaret Karungaru for appointment as a member of the National Gender and Equality Commission. The President now seeks the approval of the nominee by this House. Honourable members, Standing Order 45 provides that upon receipt of notification of a nomination for appointment, such a nomination shall stand committed to the relevant departmental committee for consideration. In this regard, I hereby refer the message from His Excellency the President, together with the CV, the report of the Public Service Commission, and other testimonials of the nominee to the Departmental Committee on Labour for consideration. Honourable members, it's important to note that Section 8 of the Public Appointments Parliamentary Approval Act 2012 provides that the committee to which such nomination is referred, notably Section 11(6) of the National Gender and Equality Commission Act 2012, provides for a lesser period, being 21 days. In this regard, the committee should undertake approval hearings and submit its report within 21 days, as provided for in the National Gender and Equality Commission Act. The law, however, allows for an extension of this period should need arise. In view of the foregoing, honourable members, the committee is expected to immediately commence the approval process, notify the nominee and the general public of the time and place for holding the approval hearings. Thereafter, upon conclusion of the hearing, table its report on or before Wednesday, 5th April 2023, to enable the House to consider the matter within the statutory timelines. I thank you.
Emotions ran high at Chepkemel village in Chemase location in Tinderet, Nandi County during the burial ceremony of the late Kevin Kiptanui, who was a 4-month student at Chemase Secondary School. The burial of the 16-year-old student who died following an alleged corporal punishment from his teachers on the grounds that Kelvin had copied answers during a physics test had a lot of blame games as the family hit at pathologist Simon Omwok for delaying the autopsy outcome despite having waited for longer time.
Tuliamua kwa Kelvin kwa sababu hata tuliona hapo ukweli hakuna hapo, tukaamua hata tukifanya nini still Kelvin amekufa.
Autopsy imechukuliwa upande ya Nairobi for further postmortem. We hope that we're going actually to find the right results.
Tungependa kabla vile huyu mtoto ameletwa hapa, ule mwenye alitenda hiki kitendo akuwa ameshikwa. Ako ndani ambapo kila kitu ikifanyika lazima huyo jamaa akuwa ako ndani. Mbona tunashika mtoto na hatuoni haki na tunatarajia hii haki ya serikali itutendee haki.
We shall have a meeting of the board where the teachers will be summoned to appear before the board and answer to the charges of corporal punishment.
And after the corridors of justice, Safari rally driver Maxine Wahome has pleaded not guilty to kill her late boyfriend Asad Khan. In her affidavit, Maxine, who appeared before the court virtually on Wednesday, insisted that the celebrated rally Khan injured himself while narrating the event that led to her arrest on December 2022. Maxine said she was arrested by the Kilimani DCI owing to an incident that occurred at Preston Court where she resided with Asad Khan. She claimed that on the material day, Khan violently woke her up in the morning and ordered her to leave his house. According to Maxine, it is during that process that she was allegedly attacked. She claims that she took refuge on the balcony of the apartment where the deceased attempted to break down the door using his feet.
Your Honor, the matter is coming up for the higher regards to court on the order situation.
Witness application number E39-2012-2022.
Actually, before justice Motende for her past appearance. Your Honor, although the DPP has made a decision in that matter, kindly just place the file aside, Your Honor.
Witness application number E39-2012-2022.
Actually, before Justice Motende for her. Your Honor, although the DPP has made a decision in that matter, kindly just place the file aside, Your Honor.
Right, let's take a short commercial break. Stay tuned for more news.
Get yanayoshangaza as your skiza tune. Send 570 6820 to 811.
Three young people who scored more than 350 marks from poor families in Lamu County.
They said it is a time to put political differences aside.
The CS further lauded the efforts of police officers in the last 100 days.
The leaders affirmed their party has a close relationship with the president.
This is the place where it all happened.
brings the stories that continue to change our country.
And at present, we have got one student who is now at a BBC World Service working.
These are the faces we see.
Business studies.
Is Madam Susi Masaba.
Walter Usolo, Shem Bilembo.
The voices we hear.
Glad you're tuned in. You're still tuned in to Maisha TV. Now every day here on Maisha Prime News, we air feature from different schools across the country
that have revolutionized societies through education. This is who we are. One channel, one bulletin. Masomo News Live. Join us every Wednesday at 7:30 p.m. for Masomo News Live, exclusive to Maisha TV.
Turbo School Eldoret is an outstanding boys' high school ideal for learning. Located in a quiet and serene environment in Turbo Town, Uasin Gishu County, the school aims to produce highly qualified students who will readily be admitted to world-class high institutions of